Voters decide key races in Maryland, including a close race for governor. We'll have the very latest.
Control of the U.S. Senate may rest on a race in Maryland. We'll take you to the candidates' headquarters live.
And Britney Spears and the incredibly talented Kevin Federline may have reached the end of the line.
Live from WBFM TV in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Jennifer Gilbert.
And I'm Jeff Barn. After months of tough campaigning, the voters get their turn to speak.
Election Day dominates our coverage tonight, and our reporters are following the key campaigns very closely. In the race for governor, Jeff Abel is with Robert Ehrlich's campaign at the Hyatt Hotel in downtown Baltimore. Keith Daniels following Martin O'Malley's campaign at the Hippodrome.
In the heated race for U.S. Senate, John Rydell will join us from Ben Cardin's campaign headquarters in South Baltimore, and Joy LaPola is at Michael Steele's headquarters in Bowie. But first, the only thing being watched more closely than the races are the voting machines themselves. Were there any problems today? Kathleen Cairns in our newsroom with the latest on this story. Kathleen, what happened?
Jeff, some problems were reported, but it was nothing like the chaos that occurred in the primaries. Some lines formed even before the polls opened, but overall, state elections administrators say the polling precincts have been running smoothly. There were some minor problems, like at Milford Mill Academy. Voters complained they waited an hour to cast ballots. They tell us there were not enough voter access cards. In Baltimore City, provisional ballots had to be used briefly because of problems with the voting machines at a polling place in Northwest Baltimore.
The police officer actually called the precinct for pencils. That held up the process. They didn't have pencils for the provisionals, and they didn't have black pens for the applications.
Despite the glitches, there was a major difference between primary day and today. The fact that there were more election judges who had more training seems to be paying off at the polls. Kathleen Cairns, Fox 45 News at 5:30.
Flyers being passed out statewide to voters that some are calling dirty tactics by the GOP. They look just like official voter guides with names of Democratic candidates checked inside, implying apparently these candidates support Governor Ehrlich and Michael Steele.
As it says, an official voter's guide. This is not official. This is not sanctioned by anyone. When you look at it, you notice that my name's on here. I'm not sanctioning Bob Ehrlich. I'm not sanctioning Michael Steele. And when I saw this, I realized that this was the same kind of trap and trick that was played 4 years ago.
Now, we spoke to a Steele campaign lawyer who says they are registering a complaint in PG County because their workers there were apparently threatened by uniformed officers. Those workers were handing out literature, and it's not clear whether they were passing out this particular piece of literature.
Well, the governor's race has tightened in the past few days, and tonight Governor Ehrlich is waiting to learn if voters will return him to Annapolis. Jeff Abel joins us live from Ehrlich's campaign headquarters at the Hyatt Hotel downtown with more tonight. Jeff.
Well, they are setting the stage for a big party here tonight. You know, the governor has not lost a race in his 20-year political career, and later tonight he and his supporters will be gathering here at the Hyatt to see if that record will hold. Now, the governor has already voted. He cast his absentee ballot last Thursday, and as you know, the polls show this race has tightened over the past few days. But earlier today, the governor predicted a victory, telling us he will win this race by 2 percentage points.
We were able in this race, I think we're going to be successful because we got people to focus. We got the newspaper editorial boards, for example, all around the state to focus on what we did, the commitments we made 4 years ago, and then actually what we accomplished over the 4 years. So it's not to denigrate or even criticize Mayor O'Malley. When an incumbent's on the ballot, the election is about the incumbent generally. It's about what you said you would do, what you did do.
Well, the governor admits we may not know the outcome of this race by the end of this evening, but he says his attorneys are on standby to sort it all out if needed. Live at the Hyatt, Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News at 5:30.
It's come down to the voters, and tonight Democrats are very hopeful their man will emerge as the state's top man. Keith Daniels live at O'Malley headquarters at the Hippodrome downtown. Keith.
Jeff, that's right. We're live at the Hippodrome Theater where Democrats expect to celebrate victories here tonight in every race, including the gubernatorial matchup. Now, Mayor O'Malley and his family were out early this morning at the polls. O'Malley cast his ballot hoping to unseat Republican Robert Ehrlich. O'Malley appeared to be upbeat on a critical day when polls show him locked in a dead heat with Ehrlich. Now, when asked when will we know the outcome of the governor's race and O'Malley's prediction, he answered this way.
Well, I don't know. I hope we'll know tonight. We really hope we'll know tonight.
What's your prediction?
Oh,
he's going to win.
I predict that the people of Maryland are fair and intelligent people who, whenever given the choice and the leadership, always choose to move forward.
That means he's going to win.
Well, even though it is Election Day, O'Malley has not slowed down. He has a full schedule, including several stops at several polling stations before coming here tonight for the party. That party kicks off at 8 o'clock. Live in downtown Baltimore, Keith Daniels, Fox 45 News at 5:30.
Well, polls show the race for governor is so close, the outcome may come down to absentee ballots. So far, more than 191,000 voters requested absentee ballots. And before the election can be finalized, they will all have to be counted, and that may take weeks. Here's a look at the post-election timeline. On November 9th, 2 days after the election, the local election boards begin canvassing or checking the absentee ballots. On November 13th, the same process begins with the provisional ballots. November 17th is the deadline for the local boards to verify their vote counts and send them on to Annapolis. The deadline for requesting a recount of the vote is November 20th. And finally, on December 12th, the State Board of Elections has to certify the results.
And on Fox 45 News at 10 tonight, you'll hear from way more than just election pundits. You'll hear from people who actually cast the ballots. Patrice Harris joins us with a preview of tonight's Voter's Voice.
Patrice Harris in Studio B. As the election results are coming in, we're getting real people's reactions, from Democrats to Republicans, from independents to undecideds. We're finding out what were the issues that moved them, what they thought of the candidates, and if they're even confident their vote counted. You can hear the voter's voice tonight as part of election coverage on Fox 45 News at 10.
Thank you so much, Patrice. That's going to be very interesting to hear from them. If you're voting after work, will traffic slow you down?
Gabrielle Abiara joins us with tonight's Traffic Edge report. Gabrielle.
Hey, thanks, Jennifer. Definitely a tough commute tonight with these rainy conditions. Southbound 97 exit ramp to eastbound Route 100 closed. 97 a bit heavy heading down towards 50. And in the southwest corner, an accident southbound 95 at 195 and also along eastbound 195 at Rolling Road. Traveling the inner loop along this west side, you're going to find your travel time from Wilkins Avenue up to Liberty Road along one about 15 minutes. And also the top side of the Beltway completely jammed up along the inner loop due to an accident at I-83. That is a look at your evening commute. Jeff and Jennifer, back to you.
Thanks, Gabrielle. A big mess and a scary scene in South Baltimore this morning after a CSX train derails, leaving cars hanging in midair. It happened in the 1500 block of Patapsco, where 5 cars of a freight train came off the tracks. One car was carrying hazardous materials, and special crews spent most of the day cleaning and securing the area. No injuries reported.
The stabbing near Lexington Market that left one man dead on Friday erupted apparently after a fender bender. It happened just before lunch near Jasper and Mulberry Streets. Police say the victim had some heated words with the driver of another vehicle after a minor mishap. That's when the other driver stabbed 59-year-old Gap Suk Suh, killing him. Police are looking for the suspect tonight and say surveillance cameras will play a key role in this investigation. Fire investigators in Baltimore City say a candle apparently caused the fire that left 2 people dead and 2 others hurt last month. It happened October the 27th in the 1900 block of East Hoffman Street. 10 people were sleeping at the home when the blaze erupted.
Baltimore City Public Schools could be in a crisis come next school year. More than 60% of the school system's principals are eligible to retire. The city is so concerned about the problem that they're working with a nonprofit organization to find and train new principals. Cities including Memphis, D.C., and New York are using the same organization to recruit and train new principals. Next, Chief Meteorologist Vita Srieg will be here with your first look at the forecast.
The brutal battle for control on Capitol Hill. We'll take a look at some of the hot races nationwide.
I'm John Rydell, live at Ben Carter headquarters, where this race is drawing national attention. We'll have a live report coming up.
And I'm Joy LaPola at the Michael Steele camp. Coming up on Fox 45 News, what this candidate for U.S. Senate had to say as he was heading to the polls today.
The entire country is watching Maryland tonight, where one race may help decide the balance of power in the U.S. Senate. We have live team coverage at the Steele and Cardin camps tonight. Let's start with John Rydell, who is live at Ben Cardin's headquarters at the American Visionary Art Museum in South Baltimore. John?
Jen, this is a race that's drawn plenty of national attention in recent weeks. But today for Ben Cardin, his goal was just to get out the vote. Cardin greeted voters this afternoon at Northwood Elementary in Northeast Baltimore, and his supporters